Hi guys, Dan here. Just a quick summary for you on the latest Victorian state budget. A lot of you may have already seen, but come the 1st of July 2017, there are a couple of important measures that affect first home buyers and also property investors. So let's quickly break it down. For first home buyers, the Victorian government from 1 July 2017 is essentially abolishing all stamp duty on purchase properties up to a purchase price of $600,000. And then from $600,000 to purchases up to $750,000, they're essentially providing buyers with a concession on the stamp duty on a sliding scale. So for example, if you purchase just above the 600 mark, say at 605 or 610, you pay a small amount of stamp duty, say 10 or 11,000 in comparison to maybe 35,000. And then if you purchase all the way up to near 750, so say you purchased for 740 or 745, then the amount of stamp duty that you pay would be equivalent or nearly equivalent to had there been no concession at all. What does that mean for a first home buyer that's trying to save up a deposit? Well, let's quickly break down some numbers. Say you're borrowing 90% on a purchase for $600,000. Well, 90% of 600 would be 540,000. So as a first home buyer, you'd essentially need to bridge that gap between 540 and 600. So that's $60,000. In addition to that, normally there'd be stamp duty and other costs. So now without that stamp duty, it's just those smaller additional costs like mortgage transfer and registration, some legal fees. You're not looking at more than about $3,000. So total amount of money that you need at a 90% loan to value ratio to buy for 600 is now going to be roughly 63,000 as opposed to say an extra 30,000 on top of that, which you previously would have needed to cover the stamp duty. In addition to this, the government's saying that for the first home buyers, they're doubling the grant from $10,000 to $20,000. But that is only for people that are buying new properties or building new properties in regional areas of Victoria. For those that are staying in Metro, there is still $10,000 that's available, but again, it has to be on a newly established property, nothing, no existing dwellings or established housing. And again, just to be very clear, this does not relate to property investors at all. It's purely for first home buyers buying an owner-occupied property. Anyway, there's plenty more information on the State Revenue Office website, so that's probably your best bet to start doing your research, and then obviously speak to your trusted advisors for any further details that relate specifically to your situation. With property investors in Victoria, they're the ones that have, wouldn't say taken a massive hit, but a couple of measures that the government's imposed to maybe just get back some of the money that they're now giving away to the first home buyers. So two key points. The first is previously there were concessions for property investors when buying off the plan properties. Those stamp duty exemptions will no longer exist. And secondly, for property investors that had equity in their existing investments, the government previously allowed spousal transfers between, say, a husband and wife in that scenario without any stamp duty payable via the love and affection laws. That stamp duty exemption will no longer exist from 1 July 2017 either. In summary, a couple of quite important measures for Victorian first home buyers and also property investors. Particularly for the first home buyers though, do keep in mind that whilst you are now getting this additional incentive by way of the additional grant and the additional stamp duty concessions, just be mindful of the fact that so too are all the other first home buyers in the market. So obviously what that means is the government's increasing the borrowing capacity and buying power of a concentrated group all at the same time, buying in similar kinds of markets. So it goes to reason that there could very well be a price increase in those markets as a result of that. So whilst you might be getting a little bit more from the government, just be mindful of the fact that you may actually have to pay slightly more for that type of housing stock as well. Like always, asset selection with any property purchase is going to be critical. I'm not the property expert, I'm the finance guy, but do speak to the property experts out there around buying the right asset for you, because that is always going to have a major impact on how the purchase works out for you. Thanks for your time and good luck.